nail-biting sprint races, we now go to a 2-hour endurance race with 13 points splitting the two Class T contenders. There they are. And 12 points splitting the two Class A contenders.
They look a little happier now, don't they?
Certainly do. I think it was just the heat of the moment there. Henry Groenewald would like to take a victory, of course, with the Sassel race day and his Sassel Subaru. Gary Famato wants to extend his lead, but he's got that man to watch out for.
Talking about race strategies, what will be the right one?
A big crowd sticking around for all the action. We'll be running into the night. When it gets dark, we're going to be in for some fantastic race action. On pole position will be the Afrox BMW of Taylor and Etienne van der Linde.
Then Priest and Poulter will team up.
Behind them, Stephen and Sean Watson-Smith.
A championship close, but not for Groenewald and the toy at the moment.
There's the championship contender. Fourie will have Swanepoel at his side.
Then Sepuka and Moss.
Richard Pinard will be running with John Williams in the second of the Sassel Subarus.
Class D for Marta, Waberski.
Alongside them, Michael van Rooyen and Devin Robertson.
There's one to look out for, Dumity and Donker.
Behind them, Rechard Rutz and Graham Nathan in the Induel GTI.
Then Bonafide and Thompson, good combination.
Andrea Bate and Naomi Schiff making up the all-girl power Ford ST.
So, Greg, this is it. It's for all the nuts and bolts, buddy.
And double points, more importantly, as they go into the 2-hour endurance race. It's just after the 6 o'clock mark, and we're going to be starting just after the 8 o'clock. It's going to be dark when these guys finish racing.
So, I don't know who your money's on, but I'll tell you what's going to be an absolutely awesome tussle out there. And they'll be okay right now while there's daylight, but I'll tell you what, a lot of these drivers do not like driving at night.
Etienne van der Linde starting out in the Taylor van der Linde car. Priest alongside Sean Watson-Smith, who we're on board with now. He's in Michael Stevens' Engine Extreme Audi S4. As they go into the back straight now, we say this is an endurance race. They normally take it a lot easier. I don't know about that, but these guys are flat.
They're on the money here. I don't understand this. I mean, they're all lapping as if they were going around as in a sprint race.
Except Moss.
Look at that.
Except Moss. He's out there and not used to Bridgestone tyres. Unfortunately, he's not used to any warm tyres.
What is he used to?
He goes out on cold tyres every single time, and that's kind of what he does in Formula Volkswagen, but unfortunately it has dropped him right back through the field. So he's got a bit of work to do there in Sepuka's car. Look at the two BMs, though, side by side, van der Linde and Priest. Now, Priest would like to take the victory and get ahead of van der Linde and get ahead early so he can try and put some laps in between himself, and he does that. Oh, and a little tap there from Sean Watson-Smith on van der Linde. Hi, welcome back to racing. Yeah, I'm enjoying it as well.
So the day continues right now. We've had just an absolutely superlative day's racing with those two sprint races, but 20 points, as you said, double the money here. This could decide a championship. I still feel, though, irrespective, it's going to go down to another round.
It definitely is. Right now, you're looking at Fourie. Here's the man who has to do all the work. You can see Sean Watson-Smith. That's the car he's targeting, and it's just ahead of the Subaru. Now, the Subaru is really having to work hard because Groenewald is at the wheel. He decided to get in the car first. He's going to hand to Jonathan du Toit a bit later on, but he thought, let me get out there and see if I can get some hot laps in and maybe just be in contention here.
As you can see, it's getting slightly darker. The sun going down rather rapidly, as it does do in the Highveld. It stays longer down by the coastal regions as well. But this is going to be important. And a little later on, we're going to see some rather fantastic sights of really hot discs glowing in the dark, but not right now, although they really are getting on the brakes quite hard at the moment.
Well, what you're going to see now is the pace start to settle down a little bit. They'll all see that 2 hours is a long way to go. In the background, picking up one of the Fords leading out right now. I think it was Germany that is in the front end of the field. We'll have to get confirmation on that as soon as we see the cars, but definitely a Ford at the front of Class T. Groenewald looking pretty dangerous, looking for a way around Sean Watson-Smith. Right now doing a great job for that Watson-Smith Audi in keeping Fourie behind him.
A little too early right now for the pit stops. And by the way, Greg, as you know, we have 3 compulsory pit stops of 6 minutes each. So it's like a sort of a mini Le Mans. We'll get to see some of the pit mechanics come out. There'll be refueling, there'll be tire changes, and there might even be some replacements of brakes as well.
I think there's going to be definitely replacement of brakes. The way that these brakes cook in 8 or 10 laps, a over 2 hours. They're definitely going to be heating up and possibly even breaking into flames like we saw at Pakisa. Here's a little battle between Roots. He's out there in Nathan's car. Behind him is Lee Thompson in Bonafide's GTR 6. So 2 GTR 6s. And look at how Lee Thompson, look how smooth this driver is. He's had a busy day in the saddle himself. He's been involved in the engine Volkswagen Cup. And he's in the Masters battle there. But now joining his good friend and teammate in the Ferodo team, Gennaro Bonafide, to try and take on the likes of Roots in that Indy Oil GTR 6 ahead of him.
Well, there's no doubt there's going to be some very different strategies out there, and they've all gone through these, and what's the best permutations in terms of drivers and the pit stop, and maybe some will do 2 stints and one do 1. Knight's a different kettle of fish driving here, but it is a well-lit circuit, and there's no doubt about that. One of the very best circuits on our itinerary. But it'll be very, very interesting, Greg, to note what sort of laps will they start to come in, and who will try and go longer.
Well, what I'm going to say between these two drivers, Roots and Bonafide's car with Thompson in it at the moment, they are not that far off the lap times that the original drivers would have done. Nathan and Bonafide lapping within 1 point and 1.2 seconds of each other. So not much of a difference in terms of the drivers' abilities. Right now it's a case of getting through the field. And speaking of getting through the field, Ferrari still hasn't found a way past Groenewold's Subaru.
Just trying to calculate how many laps we've done at the moment, and that's going to be mission impossible to start with, because as the light starts to fade, it gets more and more difficult to see these cars, and then you just have these blazing lights, and then the wheels start lighting up as well. But we will find throughout this field, as these drivers come in and the teams prepare for new drivers, we'll see the leaderboard start to go full circle, as it were. And, you know, there'll be many different drivers leading this race at many different times.
That's exactly it. But that, as you say, the roles change and the leads will change right the way through, depending on how the cycle goes. As the guys come in and the pit changes happen, that's where we're going to see things changing up when the drivers are in pit lane. Right now, at the front end of the field, though, it is Melville Priest who leads out. Second place is his teammate, and of course, the teammate to his original teammate, Etienne van der Linde, in that car. Formato is our Class T leader.
Yeah, well, so speaking about those BMWs, I reckon they've really got not only a great package, but I think they've got a great team of drivers. I mean, if you think about it, Poulter, van der Linde, when was the last time we saw them drive? Okay, we got
early pit stop here. Richard Roots getting out of the Indy Oil car. Fans gone to try and cool the engine. Look at that. Blowers even up the front end of the car there, trying to close it. Oh, Priest has made a mistake. Melville pushing too hard. Oh, that could be costly. Look at the front brake disc there. Absolutely red hot. So Melville Priest pushing just that little bit too much. That could be costly, because look at all the debris coming out. See, it's a works team here. Richard Roots having to do the refueling himself.
Well, that's clever as well, because he's wearing a helmet and he's wearing fire gear as well.
Exactly that. Bonafide's car comes in with Lee Thompson behind the wheel. They're not doing a driver change there. This is actually a little bit of a problem. There might have been a hassle on the car, so that was not a scheduled stop. This should be a scheduled stop. And look at how the brakes are cooking on the Audi.
Well, this is one of the reasons why these pit stops are 6 minutes, which allows or gives it time for the brakes and their discs and their pads to at least have a chance to cool down. And if they didn't have 6 minutes, I think they'd be in trouble.
Well, Melville explaining what went wrong up at the top. He's going to hand over to Leroy Poulter, another very seasoned campaigner in a production car and a saloon car. Chop Sapuka makes his way out now, taking over from Simon Moss. 30 minutes down, and look how dark it is already. Here is a little on-track battle there, and it's the lead of Class A. I think that was second place. That is now Nathan behind the wheel. Faria's got ahead of Michael Stephen, and that is crucial, because Sean Watson-Smith was in that car. Michael Stephen's taken over now. He's going to be doing the night stint.
Good luck to him as well. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be out there. I mean, it's really, really difficult driving in these circumstances. And the most important difficulty when driving at night is it's not so much getting into the corner, it's the exiting of the corner. That apex on the exit, that's very, very difficult for driving at night.
It's spotting the apex as well, Steve. Really, really crucial to get that apex right, because if you don't, you lose drive, and there's a possibility that the car's behind you. Oh, and as I say that, Stephen has got back ahead, and unfortunately Kirsty Swanepoel behind the wheel of that car now didn't have an answer to Michael Stephen. He's got past. We're on board with Swanepoel right now.
Right, so they've got a long way to go, and it's very, very important for Ferrari and this team to garner as much points as they possibly can. What were we saying earlier on as they came into this? 13-point spread and a 12-point spread in T, and 13 in Class A. So there's not much in it, and really it's crucial for Ferrari to have a good outing, particularly in this. And this, if you think back to Pakisa, where his whole championship came to the fore.
Just have a look at this, Steve. The back of Bonafide's car, we've got Lee Thompson still in here. He's got lights on the front, but there are no lights at the back. That could be a crucial mistake here. He goes up the inside of Germany, takes that position away, but the COC will be watching that. And unfortunately, I think he's going to have to come in for an unscheduled stop to get those lights sorted out. So the Ferraro team might be in a bit of problems there with an electrical fault.
Well, you well spotted there, Greg, because that is the case, because you've got to have brake lights both working, and you've got to have front and back headlights, or rear lights, as in the case. And if one of those is not working, although we might see that at the moment, there it is, that's working, that's what we need. They need to, when they get on the brakes, you need those two lights to be working, and of course you need two headlights in the front as well. Absolutely critical, and well spotted there, because I think if we have a problem here, they're going to have to come in for an unscheduled stop.
So this is Jonathan du Toit in Henrik Grunewald's Subaru heading into Sassel Corner on the back end of the Ford of Germany. Sean Dermany's at the wheel of that car right now. And you can see Jonathan du Toit not quite a fare with the car just yet. He has had some seat time in it, but it's not going to help him out. Because remember last night, during the qualifying and during the practice session for this, it poured with rain, so they had to cancel it. So he hasn't had a lot of seat time, and you can see just how hard it's being, he's having to work to get past the Ford.
Would this be a good time to say that I was absolutely petrified of the lightning and climbed under a car?
It's not a bad option, because it was definitely very, very dangerous lightning. But just showing how difficult it is to get in from a car, and this is a man who knows this track backwards. Jonathan du Toit has driven almost any kind of car around this track. He's now in a Sassel Subaru, teammate to Henrik Grunewald, and it took him 5 corners to overtake a Class T Ford.
Yeah. After 1 hour continues. I've got to tell you a funny story about that. And you were speaking about the lightning yesterday, and it went off with such a loud bang. It hit the actual pits, and Gary van der Spey was working on one of the Fords with the communications, and he thought that he'd blown the car up.
Right, so now we see changes happening thick and fast in pit lane. The Ford team working hard, but working well here. They cannot afford to make any mistakes. And in fact, when these guys came in for the second pit stop, Sean Dermany's car was actually the leading car on the track. So very similar to what we saw at Pekisa. The Class T boys have got a chance of taking overall victories. That was the man that had a chance at Pekisa, Michael van Rooyen.
Yeah, you're quite right. That cycle of change, as it always is. Free comes in. In fact, Zwartkops coming in as well. That looks like an unscheduled stop, to be honest with you.
Here comes Shop Sapuka back into pit lane now. We just saw him go out, so there might be a problem there. They were battling with the brakes and trying to get them cooled down. Now we go with 15 minutes to go. And at the front end of the field, Michael van Rooyen had led for a while, as had Sean Dermany. And all of a sudden, things had changed. And, of course, the cycle had redone itself. And it was the Afrox BMW of Taylor that was leading out. Now, he wasn't too far ahead of the first of the Engine Extreme Audis. And that, of course, was Michael Stevens. So there was going to be a good little dice here for the last part of the race.
Well, it was only a lap. That's all it was. That was the difference. Now it's a big charge. The other bad news as well for the Fords, and you'll get into that, we're speaking about him at the moment. They brought 3 cars coming into this championship with an all-girl power team of Andrea Bate and Naomi Skiff. Unfortunately, they had a gearbox problem, so that entrance out. But we've still got the 2 running for Marto and Duminy, and for Marto's looking good.
Unfortunately for Graham Nathan, who's in second place, he's just been lapped there by the Ford. And looks like the Audi is starting to make a move too. He has got away from Henrik Grunewald's car. He's got ahead and he's looking to close down and possibly even catch the BMW. That's how quick Michael Stevens was lapping with only about 5 minutes to go. Ferrari comes in. Problems so late in the race. This is not good.
Now, with all this smoke that we're seeing at the bottom of the screen right now from the Ford, that's one of the Fords. Was that Duminy?
I think it was Duminy who was in. He has the change. This is for the lead.
Wow.
Can you believe it? He's caught up onto the back end of Anthony Taylor, and Taylor has having to go defensive. There's a problem on the BMW, and the Audi is going to drive around the outside. That's all you get to see, unfortunately, as they come in. That is Gary Formato. He leads out in Class T, and he's sitting in about 4th or 5th place overall on the road. But there's Michael Stevens, and has he got past the BMW? It looks like he has. Going into BMW Accessories corner, it is the Engine Extreme Audi that takes the lead with only about 3 laps to go, Steve. Brilliant.
And this will compound Johan Ferrari, who's leading the championship at the moment, in a big way.
Yeah, things are going to change up there drastically. There's Bonafide and Thompson's car, the Ferraro GTI 6, flying high, and really a good effort there from that team. But a magnificent effort from the Engine Extreme team. They've got ahead of the BMW. They are now looking for a chance of taking a victory. Sean Watson-Smith did all the driving during the day. Michael Stevens has done the majority of the driving, and look how hard he's still pushing. Those brake discs are lit up, all 4 of them now. Amazing stuff. Out of the double right-hander into Execuline corner, heading down towards the flag. The flag will probably be waiting for these guys now, and this is going to be a victory, and a very, very crucial one for the championship. Michael Stephen and Sean Watson-Smith have done it all right. There's Henny the flag. Unfortunately, just missed the Audi. But it doesn't matter. I don't blame him. You're not going to see much with just headlights blasting into your eyes. Confirmation, though, it is definitely a victory there for the Engine Extreme Audi of Michael Stephen and Sean Watson-Smith. Brilliant driving from them. Unfortunately, Taylor and van der Linde, the boost pipe came off the Aprox BMW. They were dumped down to second place. Fourie and Swanepoel in third.
So in Class T, it was Vermato leading out in an overall great position. Nathan and Ruurts, Bonafide, Thompson, Duminy and Donker, Van Rooyen and Robertson.
What a phenomenal effort there from the Ford team. You've got to be very happy with the performance of the car.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, fantastic stuff. But, you know, at the end of the day, the trick in this race was getting the brakes all organised, getting the tyre temps organised, and that's what it's about. I mean, you know, just looked after in the pace we had, looking after tyres was good. So it was great. Just thanks to Garth for just, you know, doing what he needed to do and doing some excellent lap times in. And, yeah, the whole thing came together. You know, we've been doing well. We've done well in all the endurance events, and we've thrown them away for various reasons and so forth. And I'm just glad now that we've actually put one in the bag.
Garth out there must have been hair-raising at the night stints, that's for sure, because it certainly looked like it from our point of view.
Yeah, the night stint wasn't too bad. The biggest thing was having a race for Gary. I mean, this is his championship, and for him and the Ford team to invite him to help him out that was the biggest thing, because I know the championship is very important for the team. But the night race itself, it wasn't too bad. The circuit's well lit, and the biggest thing was the exit of the corners, but it was a fantastic car.
John, a phenomenal finish to this race, a victory for the Engine Extreme Audi team, and a welcome return to racing for you, buddy.
What can I say? I mean, it couldn't be better, you know, to come back. Not race for 2 years, get the opportunity to come back and help Mark in the championship and then win the race. Just fantastic, you know. I don't even know if Mark will remember this, but about 25 years ago, one of the first races I ever did was a karting endurance event with Michael, which we won in PE, and this is just an amazing sense of deja vu I've got right now. Just an incredible day.
It's a brilliant bit of driving from yourself. You did a lot of the nighttime stuff because he was too chicken to, but it definitely paid off in the end. This championship goes down to the final round. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, great race. Sean coming back after 2 years. You know, what a driver. He only had 2 sessions and straight away on the pace. You know, great, well done to him. And yeah, I've got chills. You know, I've got my goosebumps. You know, and as you said many years ago, it brings back good memories. I just have to say thank you to the entire team, the mechanics, the sponsors, Terry Moss Racing, Engine, Audi, everyone. We've really put everything in for this race. Terry Moss has really, you know, given us the opportunity, and yeah, the championship's coming down to the wire, and we're going to give it everything.
Certainly is. 6 points in it between the two Audis going into the final round back at Zwartkops. Henny Groenewald still in with a chance of getting up into second.
Well, it's just as close in Class T as well, but I'll tell you what, this championship will go down to the wire. Vermato's leading it out over Nathan, 20 points in it. Bonafide in third, Duminy, Van Rooyen, and Levy, Kwambi, Essa, Singh, and Bates. Well, what a championship.